Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for watching. Today we installed the new Teraflex JL spare tire delete. So it comes with your camera, your third brake light, and optional if you are putting a license plate here, which we are not. I'm keeping it off to the side where it has been. But you also have your license plate light. They provide in the kit to you a cable long enough to extend that light so you can run the wiring properly. But we are not using that again today. So I'll get into the install, and if you want to pick one of these up, down below in the description, I do have the link for it off of Amazon if you'd like to grab one. So without further ado, let's get into the install. So before we go too far and take the carrier off, we want to pry this rear panel off. And usually, sometimes you can start it down kind of around this tethered strap. And you kind of put your finger and you pop it out as you go. There's clips all across the bottom. And there's some at the top too, so you can just kind of work yourself away gently. And there you go, it should pop off. Now, some of these clips did not come out. As you can see, there's a couple clips stuck in here. Just go ahead and pull those guys out and put them back on here before you reinsert this panel. Now, coming back to the door here, and you can't see, I don't think, from that angle, so I'll bring it in a little closer. So this panel here, you have your electrical connections for your camera and the electrical connection for the rear brake light. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to undo those. And the one's real easy. It's just a red pull pin. Let's pull that up and see if I can get this done on camera for you, because it's kind of hard to get your fingers in here, but okay. Hold on. Okay, so that one's done. Now the white one, which is your camera, I believe is should be a little tab to push at the center there. Okay, yeah, so you don't have to use a screwdriver. You just push down in this little tab here. Push that down, pull it up, it comes right apart. So now your wiring is loose, and we can go back around to the front and continue. What you're going to want to do first, guys, is you're going to use your T25 Torx, and you're going to go around to all of these locations and take those out. That way you can separate this and get to the third brake light. You can simply do this by pulling this apart. Okay, that's going to come apart like that. Okay, you got to be careful because your wiring is inside here too, right? So now coming up top here, if you can see these underneath, there's two T25 Torx as well. You have to remove those, so we'll go ahead and do that. So now you can pretty much go ahead and you can disconnect the rear brake light. There's just one little tab, you just pull it up and it'll snap right off. We'll go ahead and do that here for you. So what you are going to want to do here is you're going to want to go to the factory bolt locations, and you're going to want to undo all of those. Keep one at the top kind of done up loosely so this doesn't actually fall right off, because it will. So go ahead and do that, and then you can separate your wiring for your camera of the factory mounting spot. Okay guys, so what you're going to want to do here is you have to take out all the factory bolts that are holding this tire carrier onto the back. Now what you do want to do before that is go back to your T25 Torx, okay, and there's two bolts right in here that are two torque bolts that hold your camera housing together, right? Yeah, so like I was saying here, you're going to want to get your T25 Torx, and there's just these two screws that need to come out. Okay, so now that those are out, you're going to want to kind of see if this moves freely. Kind of loosen it. And that way, there. So, okay, that's loose. That will slip through. We'll be able to pull it apart. Okay. So now that we've done unconnected the wiring, now we can come around here, pull that rubber grommet out, pull your cables out, and now everything's disconnected here. You can go ahead and fully remove this, and then we'll take the camera out of the housing. So just briefly, guys, and I want to show you this a little bit closer because I didn't really know how to take it off, but this here slides into that, and trying to get that out is extremely difficult unless you come from the back side, or the front side, sorry, and you almost have to get a screwdriver or something and hit with a hammer really hard on all these spots to push this out of the housing. And mine was extremely tight and hard to get off. So nowhere in the instructions did I really see anything about that. But just if you guys are trying to do it, it takes a lot of force to get that out. Now there's going to be 3 bolts holding this camera on. And there's 3 T8 Torx bolts. I literally did not have a T8 and had to buy one just to do this. So just be known that you're going to need a T8 Torx. Okay, guys. So once you get those 3 screws out, and you're going to want to go ahead and disconnect the cable from the camera itself. And what you're going to want to do is go back over to the Jeep and reroute it a different way, because you will not be using the same grommet that it came with. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, you're quite simply going to just reconnect your wiring harnesses again, connect your camera. You're going to come down here and you're going to reconnect the third brake light. Okay, snap that locking pin in place. You're good to go. Now, instead of routing this right back through the OEM opening that the wires come through, we're actually routing this in behind the license plate bracket, right? So you can go right through your vents here in the tailgate, and any of this excess, because you will have excess now, you can tuck up inside here, but we won't zip tie that off yet until we make sure we have enough room to actually connect everything in the front. So let's go over to the new bracket by Teraflex, and we'll look at installing the third brake light and your camera into the housing. Okay, so another one of the things here is these little tabs here. You're going to want to take a pair of needle nose or something, and you're going to want to just go ahead and trim those tips off. Hopefully that's enough. And then we can slide it into the housing. We'll see what that looks like here. So, yeah, go ahead. You got your guide rails. Oh, I think we're good. We're sitting okay there. So yeah, now once you're sitting perfect here, you're going to come down to the bottom and you're going to reinstall your screws. And so looking right here, you can see there are 2 screw locations, one on either side. And you're going to go ahead and reinsert your Phillips screws that came in the kit. And that'll hold the third brake light in place. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we'll get on with the install. Okay guys, now that you've gone ahead and you got your third brake light reinstalled, now you can go ahead and use their provided tools. They also do provide you with really, really tiny bolts. And you can get your camera mount here. And there's only one way you can really put this in here, so just line it up and go ahead and put the screws in. It's easier said than done if you have big fingers. Okay, so go ahead and flip over your new mount. You're going to install the factory camera into the opening, and you're going to use the provided 4 bolts that they give you, or 4 kind of screws. They're, again, T25s, and you're going to go ahead and reinsert them in the corresponding 4 holes. Now, if you guys have big fingers like I do, this is not the easiest task to do, unless you have some magnetized tools, which would really come in handy, and I should really think about picking those up. But we'll speed through this so you guys don't have to watch me struggle. Now I'm only doing these pretty much finger tight, hand tight. It's only holding the camera, and you don't want to over torque them in here, right? So I believe in the instruction manual they do actually give you some torque settings for the frame itself, but I didn't see anything for the nuts inside here. So now that we have that done, let's move on to the next step, guys. So moving back over to the Jeep here, you're now going to want to reconnect your electrical connections for your camera and your third brake light. So go ahead. It shouldn't be too difficult, but I can't really show you. It's kind of an awkward angle here, but they literally snap in really quick. There's one clipped in, The camera one, you just keep note of the orientation, and you shouldn't have an issue. There we go. So we got both clipped in. So now what you can do is you can go ahead and you're going to utilize the 4 stock mounting locations and the mounting hardware in order to put this back on. So let's go ahead and do that. Easy, just line up the holes. Get a couple of these started. And then you can go ahead and then we'll put in the supplied plugs that come with this kit. Just plug the holes and take these bumpers off. Now there is actually a torque spec on this, and I'm not too worried about what the torque spec is. They do provide it. Teraflex has provided it in the instruction manual. So if you guys actually want to go ahead and torque it down, I'm not going to be torquing it down. I'm just going to do it, you know, fairly snug hand tight. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so now that that's all mounted up, you're going to want to go ahead and remove the old plugs. You're going to want to remove this one. It'll come out if you yank it on an angle. And like I said, they have been nice enough to provide us with these plugs to fill the holes. You just kind of got to work them into place a bit. Eventually you'll get it in. It's hard to seat them. It actually helps to spray them with soapy water. I just don't have any with me. They are a tight fit, which is good. 1. There's 2. Pull this guy off. Same thing, just pull it out on an angle. It will come out. A little bit of a struggle with this one. There we go. So now we got all those in. Okay, perfect. So that is done for the outside. Now just go ahead and reinstall your panel back on the inside. Tuck the wires up out of the way. And we're complete. Well guys, there you have it. That's going to be it for today for the install of the Teraflex JL Spare Tire Delete. I think definitely if you want to get rid of your spare tire and you're looking at an option like this, definitely pick one of these up because it was literally not that expensive on Amazon, and I'll post a link down for you. Install went relatively well. There's a couple tricky sections where you need really small fingers, or maybe not such fat fingers like I have, but either way it worked well, and I like the look of it. I like the fact that it now repositioned the rear camera closer, and I can actually see the entire rear of my bumper now. So that's going to help a lot off-roading when you're getting really close to stuff. So for me, it's going to work. If you guys like watching videos like this, please down below, like and subscribe. It definitely helps our channel out. And thanks to everybody who's been subscribing lately. It makes me want to keep doing these great videos for you. So thanks again, and we'll catch you next time.